The original version of the tale, Little Snow White, was initially published in 1812 within the pages of Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm's now famous folklore anthology, Grimm's Fairy Tales. Instead of an evil stepmother, the evil queen herself is the actual mother of Snow White in the original 1812 version of the tale, and it was the queen's desire to have a beautiful daughter that actually manifested Snow White into the world. However, as Snow White grows up, she becomes fairer and fairer, until her beauty exceeds that of the queen. As a result, the queen sends a huntsman to not just kill Snow White, but also bring back her lungs and liver as a token. Yet the huntsman could not finish his grim mission, taking pity on Snow White and letting her go despite the queen's wishes. In lieu of Snow White's organs, the huntsman brings the queen the liver and lungs of a young pig, which she eats thinking they are her daughters. Snow White then escapes to the woods and finds shelter with the 7 dwarves, who in the 1812 version actually had no names. When the queen finds out that Snow White is hiding in the 7 mountains, she disguises herself as an old peddler to make 3 more attempts on her daughter's life. First, the queen pretends to sell bodice laces, which she uses to strangle Snow White. Later, the dwarves loosen the laces and bring her back to health. Second, the queen drops by again to sell Snow White a poisonous comb, which seems to kill her the moment it touches her hair. But again, the dwarves later arrive to take out the poisonous comb tooth and save Snow White. And finally, the still disguised queen arrives with the infamous poisoned apple, taking a bite from the non-poisonous part to convince the girl to eat it. This seems to have done the trick, as the dwarves fail to revive Snow White after. Instead, they place her in a glass coffin with gold letters detailing her royal lineage. Eventually, the charming prince arrives to try and buy Snow White in the glass coffin. After the dwarves refuse to trade Snow White for gold, the enamored prince pledges to honor her as his most cherished thing on earth. So the dwarves take pity on him and give him the coffin. Back home in his castle, the obsessive prince orders servants to carry around the coffin wherever he goes. And when one servant gets fed up with having to carry the dead girl, he takes Snow White out of the coffin to smack her in the head in anger. This is what causes the poisoned apple piece to fall out of Snow White's mouth, which brings her back to life. In the ensuing wedding, the queen arrives, not knowing that the young queen is actually Snow White, whom she thought was dead. And as punishment, the queen is made to wear red-hot iron shoes until she dances herself to death. This original story was revised several times to make it more palatable to audiences, with the more recent versions omitting the darker aspects of the first version. But which do you prefer? The family-friendly tale as depicted in the Disney movies, or the original 1812 version of the story? Tell us your thoughts in the comments and keep watching ScreenRant.